And Backing the Blue, a grassroots group, is showing their support for local law enforcement.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news from Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McGonigal. First at 10, fire crews are finishing mopping up on a wildfire on the east side of Canyon Ferry Lake tonight. It happened near Goose Bay. According to Broadwater Rural Fire District Chief Ed Schindel, they're still trying to figure out what caused that fire as well as calculate the size. No one was injured, no buildings were damaged. The Forest Service responded to the fire as well as crews from Broadwater Rural Fire District, Duck Creek, Townsend, and Winston. And further north, the story was heavy rain, small hail, even some power outages earlier tonight. For a check of our first forecast, we send it to STORMTracker meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland.
So we've been tracking a few stronger thunderstorms these last couple of hours. Now those have started to fizzle out, but that doesn't mean we're done with a severe threat just yet. So we do track some stronger storms right across Highway 2 right now as we see those settle in, especially right across mostly just the northeast corner as it heads into North Dakota. So that storm is pretty strong, but it will continue heading off out of our area while a few of those last remaining rumbles of thunder head up parts of I-15 right over the Rocky Mountain front as well. And then we have one right between really Great Falls and Big Sandy. So we're going to still see a lot more of those stronger storms in the forecast once again tomorrow. But until then, do enjoy the big cool off those showers brought to us, especially in central and eastern Montana. We're down to the 60s right now in Helena and Great Falls, where those showers just moved through just about an hour or so ago. 79 in Glasgow as a stronger storm stayed off just to our east there. Now we are tracking a few more stronger storms right back in the forecast tomorrow evening. We have all you need to know for your 4th of July forecast coming up here shortly.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Well, President Trump made a Friday night Independence Day speech with Mount Rushmore as his backdrop. The president's trip to South Dakota has drawn crowds and controversy, as CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
President Trump kicked off the Independence weekend Friday night as thousands gathered for his visit to Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore will stand forever as an eternal tribute to our forefathers and to our freedom.
In South Dakota, officials said that social distancing and face coverings would not be required at the celebration, though organizers provided masks for those who wanted them.
Everybody in our family has really been healthy, and so this is really the first big thing that we've done away from our town.
The president, in his speech tonight, took aim at efforts nationwide to remove controversial monuments and statues.
Our nation is witnessing a merciless campaign to wipe out our history, to fame our heroes, erase our values, and indoctrinate our children.
Native American groups protesting the event view Mount Rushmore as a desecration of stolen land. Here in Washington, the president will continue to celebrate the 4th of July holiday, hosting a Salute to America event on Saturday. The White House says frontline workers, military members, and their families will be among those watching from the South Lawn. A spokesman says facial coverings will be provided, and the Department of the Interior says more than 300,000 masks like these will be available for spectators on the National Mall. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, another unsettling milestone for Montana coronavirus cases. Today, active cases reached 400 for the first time. This past week saw the largest spike in cases since the virus was first found in Montana in March. Since Sunday, the state has seen 280 new cases and broke the daily new case record on 2 different days. Currently, 17 people are in the hospital. 23 people have died from the virus. About 2/3 of the total cases in the state are considered recovered. A player for the Tri-County Cardinals American Legion baseball team has tested positive for COVID-19, according to the team's Facebook page. The player tested positive July 1st, and that test awaits confirmation from the state. All other team members have been subsequently tested at their local hospitals and are under 14-day quarantines while awaiting results. According to the Facebook post, the player was exposed at a non-baseball event, and no games or travel have occurred since the exposure. All baseball activities for the team have been put on pause. Tri-County head coach Bjorn Swanson told MTN Sports it's the first player in the Northern A district to test positive.
We get to work with 3 county health departments and come up with plans and do the best to limit any exposure that we do have. And fortunately, we caught this very early and were able to limit it before any games were had or any other fans had been at the facility. Our biggest thing is being transparent about it, go through all the protocol, and you know, that's how we got to have a season. That's how we're going to continue to have a season.
Swanson said he's now working with the other coaches in the league to reschedule Tri-County's remaining conference games. Well, transportation workers are about to undertake a major road construction project in the Great Falls area. MTN's Caitlin Boycell has more on the Fox Farm Ulm project and how it could affect your commute.
Take a look at these clear roadways. As you can see, this will probably be one of the last times that you see congestion-free traffic until September. Starting Monday, MDT will begin resurfacing a section of I-15 from Ulm North to the Emerson Junction interchange. Drivers on this stretch of road can expect one lane in each direction and reduce speeds. Work on the main road will take place between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and this portion of the project is only expected to take a few weeks. The Fox Farm Ulm project is also resurfacing I-315 between I-15 and Fox Farm Road. All 8 of the I-315 ramps are also being resurfaced. Ramps will be closed between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., so work can be done overnight. Work will be done on just 2 ramps at a time to limit disruption. Prepare for one-lane traffic and longer commute times, all starting July 6th going through September. Reporting in Great Falls, Caitlin Boycell, MTN News.
MDT encourages residents and businesses to sign up for weekly project updates, and you can check out our website for more details on how to sign up. Well, it looks like Montana's high-profile U.S. Senate race will have another candidate soon, increasing the total number on the November ballot to 4. The Montana Libertarian Party says it plans to name a replacement candidate for Susan Good-Giese. She's the Libertarian who withdrew last month. Party Chairman Sid Dowd of Kalispell said he'll be sending out a notice soon for the party's Central Committee to meet and select a new candidate. He says he couldn't do that until the primary election results were certified by the state, which just happened recently. Montana's closely watched U.S. Senate race already has 3 candidates running: incumbent Steve Daines, Democratic Governor Steve Bullock, and Green Party candidate Wendy Frederickson. Giese is a Lewis and Clark County commissioner from Augusta. She withdrew in May, saying her duties as a commissioner during the COVID-19 pandemic wouldn't leave her with any time to campaign. Libertarians have never come close to winning a U.S. Senate race in Montana, but they can be a factor in a close race if they pull votes away from another candidate. Well, a new Helena group is rallying support for police funding and local law enforcement in the wake of national calls to defund the police. MTN's Alexi Aguayo spoke to the founder of the 406 Back the Blue campaign.
These signs are popping up across Helena residences and businesses. They represent the 406 Back the Blue campaign. The founder of the campaign wanted her face hidden. She told MTN she has been threatened since forming the group. She says she started this campaign after the Helena City Commission voted to hold off on spending almost $300,000 from the Helena Police Department budget until after a city review of police operations.
So the 406 Back the Blue campaign is a group of Lewis and Clark County voters, parents, concerned citizens who will be directly impacted if the commission and the mayor make this decision in haste without all the facts at their disposal, without listening to the people who will be directly impacted.
Samara's Facebook group gained over 3,100 members after 1 week of creating it. Signs were made in support of law enforcement.
When the law enforcement officers, whomever they may be, they're driving around, they're seeing these signs, and it's just a visual thank you.
One Helena business is also supporting the Back the Blue campaign, stating that law enforcement officers should be appreciated.
Because they protect and save our lives. Everything that we have to do and need their help, they're here. Regardless of what's going on right now and people not wanting to support law enforcement, we are all about taking care of them, helping them, and also just want to let them know that we appreciate everything they do.
The Nissan dealership in Helena will continue their support for the Back the Blue campaign. Next week, they will have a Heroes Barbecue, inviting all law enforcement, military, and fire and rescue personnel to a free lunch. In Helena, I'm Lexi Guayo, MTM News.
Powered by
No
the
Voyagers baseball at
Montana
17
Television
Stadium this year,
Network.
but that won't stop them from celebrating the 4th of July. Socially distanced, of course.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. Well, there may not be any Voyagers baseball at Centene Stadium this year, but there will still be a 4th of July celebration. MTN's Matt Holzaffel shows us what a socially distanced fireworks night will look like.
Now, when you first arrive at Centene Stadium on the 4th, there's a couple things you're going to have to do. First of all, providing your name and number, stuff like that to officials, just in case someone in the crowd is sick, so they can contact trace you and let you know so you can stay healthy. Second of all, if you forgot your mask at home, well, don't worry. They'll have some for you. Lastly, mandatory hand washing before you can head up the stairs and find your seat. On a typical July 4th at Centene Stadium, you'd probably expect to see the stands packed full of fans here to watch the Voyagers play a home game. But this year it's going to be a little different. There will be social distancing between families, and only about 10% of the stadium's capacity will be filled.
So we can only have about 300 or 400 people inside the ballpark. Rather than having lines for each register, you've got one entrance, one exit for all concession stands, markings on the ground for staying apart, all that sort of fun stuff.
Hand washing stations and social distancing markings are just a few of the ways the staff is working to keep everyone safe.
Our staff will be smiling at you. You won't be able to tell because they'll have masks on.
Masks, not required but recommended, among other things that are different than last 4th of July.
It's going to be about 2,750 less people, but other than that, there'll be no baseball, but we're just really excited to be able to provide fireworks for Great Falls.
Now, there will be food and drink available, as well as activities like cornhole. Scott tells me all of those stations will be sanitized regularly by Great Falls Voyagers staff, wearing, of course, the Great Falls Voyagers masks. In Great Falls, Matt Holzaffel, MTN News.
Well, ongoing concerns about the coronavirus have also had big impacts on local 4th of July festivities in the Helena area. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian looks at what will be different about this year's celebrations.
Despite challenges, organizers of the Helena area's largest 4th of July fireworks celebration say it is still ready to go Saturday night.
Thanks to so many supporters, it's gone a lot better than we thought it was going to.
The Prickly Pear Community Fireworks Celebration fires off each summer from the top of the East Helena slag pile. Shellie's Country Cafe organizes the event. This year, COVID-19 restrictions delayed their fundraising by about 2 months. But they say thanks to sponsors like Town Pump, they won't have to scale back the show.
But it's actually going to be about generally what we normally do in the last several years. So we're pretty happy for that. We're proud of that.
East Helena leaders are asking anyone watching the show to maintain distance, especially in city parks. They've put up signs to drive home the point.
Come early, spread yourself out, keep those physical distances at 6 feet, wear a mask, enjoy the day, be safe.
For the last 5 years, the 4th of July in Helena has been marked by a community celebration in Centennial Park, centered around the raising of the Old Glory landmark flag. This year, the flag raising will still be happening, but organizers are asking the public to stay away.
It's just not right to have a big crowd of people. We respect, what we're trying to do in this very difficult time, but we'll be here in 2021, so see you next July.
There's one other factor adding some uncertainty to this year's festivities: the possibility of storms Saturday night. Prickly Pear organizers say they're remaining hopeful the fireworks can go on at the scheduled time.
Let's keep our fingers crossed, because we do need the one thing this year that we can all enjoy and have fun. So Mother Nature just needs to work with us just for about 40 minutes.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
A parade and fireworks display are also set for tomorrow in Lincoln. Boulder will also have a fireworks show. Townsend's 4th of July celebrations have been canceled. Well, Touchmark Senior Living Community held a 4th of July parade today. The parade features residents gathering in front of the American flag at Touchmark, singing the national anthem, then later parading around the facility with flags. One Touchmark resident shared a story of patriotism for the 4th of July weekend.
I'll tell you, living in Washington, D.C., I used to round up all the kids in the neighborhood. And when John Glenn came back from the first air flight, or, you know, I took about 8 kids. That was before there were seat belts, and I stuffed as many kids, and we went down to that parade. So I've always been very patriotic.
All right, we're tracking a few of those thunderstorms moving out tonight, waking up to sunshine and warmer weather once again tomorrow, but we keep an eye on the radar as we track strong to severe storms possible tomorrow evening coming up next.
Yet now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with Elizabeth Copeland.
Hey there guys, welcome back to my living room where we're still broadcasting for you for central and eastern Montana, filling in on this Friday evening. Our plans are getting ramped up here for our 4th of July, which is tomorrow for Saturday, but we are still tracking a few thunderstorms left in our Friday evening plans. Hopefully they didn't drive you inside for too long this afternoon as some stronger storms move through Great Falls, the northeast corner of the state. We still have a little activity left right across the Rocky Mountain front and in central Montana this evening. So we're not really done with the storms tonight, but they will fizzle out quickly here over the next few hours, which we'll show you coming up here shortly. But for our radar, and currently right now, especially through Culbertson or just east of the northeast corner, right into mostly North Dakota, that's where the stronger storms are still pushing off to. The one that was actually warned just east of Fort Peck as a severe thunderstorm warning has now pushed off, though. We're not looking at any severe threats at this moment, but we are still tracking a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect for the northeast corner. That's going to be in effect through 1 a.m. That means that any storms that do enter that area, there's a lot of extra energy left over. Those could potentially become strong to severe through the late night hour, early tomorrow morning. So we'll still be watching those storms that push through that area. But right now, really the only lightning strike left out of that storm that moved through Great Falls that was severely warned is now just a light little rain shower, one lightning strike there just southwest of Big Sandy. So if you do hear that thunder, again, go indoors just for a minute as that shower passes through Big Sandy here and over the next couple of minutes. So we'll be tracking a couple of those thunderstorms here and there the next few hours. Again, fizzling out through the overnight hours, though, actually waking up to plenty of sunshine for your Saturday morning. Fort Peck area, if you're heading out to the lake there, you are going to see a few light raindrops for the early morning hours, but really the afternoon hours are what we have our eye on, especially those very same areas, almost the exact same areas that we saw those stronger to severe storms today. Well, that's going to be the same case tomorrow, 3:30, 4 p.m. This is going to be the warmest part of the day this time of year. We get that heat, extra moisture, both ingredients for those stronger to severe storms. And you can see those pockets of heavier pinks, which are those stronger rain showers and stronger storms that are going to start developing in those cells as they push off to the north and east, just like they did today for your 4th of July evening. So waking up tomorrow morning, we're still going to be mostly clear. Again, 70s holding steady through about 3 p.m. hour, and then we'll have a little bit more of those thunderstorm chances right around 4:35, mostly just to basically the Helena line all the way up to Glasgow through the afternoon and evening hours. So for tomorrow's highs, again, it's going to be really warm for that northeast corner. That's extra energy for some of those storms. That's especially what we're watching for tomorrow afternoon. The threats are still going to include the hail, lightning, and wind that we all saw with today's stronger and severe storms. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that, especially from that Butte line all the way to Glasgow for those afternoon hours. So for any 4th of July plans, maybe go ahead and bring out the KR app, the weather app, to look at the radar, especially through the afternoon and evening hours for Saturday. Sunday, though, looking a little better with those rain chances. Not too much in the forecast. They come back on Monday and Tuesday, though, but those are very, very summer-like pattern. Really, the strongest storms we'll see this week will be mostly Saturday afternoon and evening on that same line as they were today. So holding steady in the 70s and 80s, not only in Great Falls, but Helena as well, holding right about average as that summer-like pattern returns as we head into Monday, just tracking those afternoon and evening pop-up showers before they fizzle out and move out by the next day.
The 4th of July parade in Ennis has been canceled, but the rodeo is still on. I'm Gabby Crevitt, and coming up, we'll hear from local businesses and how they're preparing for the crowd.
Welcome back. Many local 4th of July celebrations have been canceled this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but the town of Ennis is still holding one of its most popular summertime traditions. MTN's Gabby Crevitt visited downtown businesses in Ennis to see how they're preparing for the rodeo this weekend.
The 4th of July holiday brings in tourists and Montana residents from all across the state to Ennis every year. And while the COVID-19 pandemic may make the celebration look a little different, businesses are still expecting a crowd.
There are a lot of people here.
The streets of Ennis are busy, even in spite of the town's favorite 4th of July tradition being canceled due to COVID-19. It's what would have been the 85th annual 4th of July parade.
At first, I was pretty bummed that the parade wasn't going to happen, but with all the traffic and the COVID cases increasing, it's okay that it's canceled.
Business owners say there's still plenty of tourists roaming the streets, and the Ennis Rodeo is still on and starts tonight.
I've heard of lots of people coming to the rodeo. I anticipate the rodeo being bigger than ever.
One of the town's staple restaurants decided to close its doors in anticipation of the 4th of July crowd.
We can do without it for a year. You know, it's just one of those things that if we have an extra 5,000 people in town, shoulder to shoulder.
Dulcie Clark says her coffee shop will definitely be open for the holiday, and social distancing and good hygiene will be key.
People are very good about putting hand sanitizer on, and lots of people are wearing masks, so I feel really good about that.
Sherry Show says she will open her doors up again after the holiday weekend.
I haven't had a 4th of July off in 20 years, and we'll be fine without one weekend.
In Ennis, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
And stay tuned, we'll be right back after this.
Next 7 days, we're tracking strong storms once again in our forecast Saturday evening. Those clear out by Sunday, though, so right in time for the end of the weekend plans. We'll be hitting the 70s and then holding steady in the 70s and 80s even through next week. That applies to the capital city as well. A few more storms moving in earlier on your Saturday afternoon, keeping an eye to the radar for the 4th of July plans.
Well, the flash mobs are pretty common now, but it's not every day you see an entire band show up for one. The Queen City Swing Band did just that today. They set up on the Walking Mall to play for those strolling or hanging out in the capital city. Marie McAleer is one of the founding members of the band. Back in 1994, she said they saw a handful of musicians perform on the Walking Mall the last few weeks, and they wanted to do it as well.
I think it became such a wonderful thing for professional musicians or people who just want to play for people, for an audience, and they were here on the Gulch doing this. So one of our members contacted the right people that have the businesses here and said, how do we go about setting up? We're a big group, but we want to do this too.
Good for them. Some nice music to end us on this weekend, this week. We hope you have a good weekend, especially a very safe 4th of July. Have a great night.